everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. It means so much. For today's video, I'm going to declutter and reorganize all of the spaces in our master bedroom. This took me 3 days to do, and so I'm going to break this up into 3 videos. That way you're not having to watch a 45-minute video all in one setting. I thought it would be better to break it up for you according to the days that it took me to do this bedroom. The reason it took me 3 days is because whenever I go to tackle a space like this, I like to take my time, but I also like to make time for people and for other things in my life. I don't like to put too much on me all in one day. When I feel like I have to get everything done all at once, I find that I don't do as good of a job and I feel really anxious and stressed out throughout the process. So for me to be able to take my time and do things slowly, I find that I'm able to do it with more excellence and I'm able to do a more thorough job to where I don't have to go in all the time and reorganize that space because it was done correctly the first time. I linked the other 2 videos that go along with this one down in the description box below for you. I went ahead and uploaded all of the videos all at the same time. That way you can watch them back to back if you want. So go check those out after you watch this one. Hopefully, in all of these videos, you'll be able to take away some great organizing and decluttering hacks. The spaces in our master bedroom include our closet, our dresser that my husband and I share, our linen closet, and those are all of the spaces that I'm going to be tackling. Throughout these videos, I also created a winter capsule wardrobe, so hopefully you'll be able to get some tips on how to declutter your clothes as well as create a seasonal wardrobe. But I'm going to do a separate video later on for my winter capsule wardrobe, so stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's just get right into today's video. So the first thing that I always like to do is make my bed because that creates a large work surface for me to work on, and it just makes me feel a little bit less overwhelmed when I go to tackle such a messy space like this. And then once I'm done making the bed, I like to go throughout the room and put everything that's out on the floors back in their proper places. Now, please don't mind the dresser drawer knobs. I'm kind of in the process of switching out the old knobs to the new knobs. I did recently paint some of this dresser a matte black and I left some of the natural wood on it, and I initially had these round wooden knobs on the dresser, but then I didn't like the way that looked, and so I switched them over, or at least that's what I'm doing now, to these antique drawer pulls, but I'm just trying to find the right screw for it right now, so my husband and I have got to make a Lowe's run for that. So if you're wondering what's going on with my drawer pulls, it's a work in progress. But yeah, I'm going to just tidy up the room. Now I do have a big pile of clean laundry in this white basket. I ended up gathering a whole nother small basket with clean laundry as well that I just stacked on top of the larger basket, and I'm going to go through those in a minute, but for now I'm going to just tidy everything up. But yeah, if you're wondering what those clothes are, they are clean. I just have not gotten around to folding them. And once I am done tidying up my room, I always like to light a candle. And now I'm going to just go through all of the clothes that are in these laundry baskets and fold anything that can be folded, like our towels or our cleaning rags, and then any of the articles of clothing that typically go in our dresser, I'm going to just leave in the basket because when I go to organize our dresser, I'm going to empty everything out anyways, and so there's no need in me folding it now because I'm going to just refold it when I go to organize the dresser. And then any clothing items that typically go in the closet or in one of my storage bins, I'm going to just set to the side. Now, the white bins that are on the floor are what I keep all of my other articles of clothing in when I'm not using them. So I do seasonal wardrobes. I have one for the winter, one for the fall, one for the spring, and one for the summer. And with each new season, I will go through my bins and take out what I want for that season and then store any clothing items that I had out for the previous season back into the bins, if that makes sense. And that's something that I'm going to be doing in today's video. So you'll get to see that process as well here in a moment. Now that I'm done sorting through all of my clothes, I have these clothes that I typically would hang up, but I'm going to just leave those on the bed because I am planning on taking all of the clothes that are hung up out of the closet and sorting through them anyways, so I'm going to just leave those there. And before I go through all of my clothing bins here on the floor, I'm going to go through the bottom half of my side of the closet. This is where I keep all of my loungewear and my workout clothes. With each new season change, I always like to go through my workout clothes and my loungewear clothes. Now, when doing a capsule wardrobe, you don't include loungewear or workout clothes within that wardrobe, but for me, I still like to go through these articles of clothing and condense them down to 7 workout outfits and 7 loungewear outfits with each new season. And the reason I do this 4 times a year is just because it helps me to keep on top of things, because throughout each season, sometimes the clothes get worn out or my style changes and I don't like certain clothing items anymore. And so I like to create a consignment shop pile as I'm going through all of my articles of clothing. So as I'm going through my loungewear and my workout clothes as my first articles of clothing that I'm going through and decluttering before I go to reorganize them back into the closet, I like to create a giveaway pile, although I'm not going to be giving these clothes away. Initially, I'm taking them to the consignment shop, and I typically will make $30 to $50 every season change off of the clothes that I consign, and I like to use that to buy 1 or 2 nice new pieces to go into whatever seasonal wardrobe I have at the time. Now for my loungewear outfits, I have 2 sweaters, 7 shirts, and 4 bottoms. Now since I only ended up having 4 pairs of bottoms for my loungewear outfits, I went ahead and I added 3 extra hangers to those bottoms to equal 7 total. That way, if I want to add to my loungewear collection this season, I can, since I am allowing myself 7 tops and 7 bottoms, which equals 7 loungewear outfits, like I just said. And then I'm going to just do that same thing with my workout clothes. Now, I still do have some loungewear and workout clothes in my bins that I need to go through, but for now, these were just the ones that were hung up from last season that I still want to use for this season. And I did the same thing, 2 sweaters, 7 tops, and 7 bottoms. And then I also include in this a couple of outfits for when I paint or to do any DIY projects, so just like working clothes. I just have a couple of outfits for that. Now, before we tackle the clothes that are in the top half of my closet, as well as the clothes that are on my clothing rack, I'm going to go ahead and go through all of the clothes that are in these bins. And I'm going to just divide them up into sections on the bed and throughout the floor. I am simply going to continue to add to my consignment slash giveaway pile. And what I mean when I say consignment slash giveaway pile is that whatever the consignment shop doesn't want to take to consign, I always end up giving the rest of the clothes away to a friend or Goodwill. So like I said, as I am going through all of the clothes from the bins, I first start off by creating piles. This just helps me to get a better idea of how much of each article of clothing I have, and it helps me to condense it down. So I have a pile for my shorts and my skirts, a pile for the loungewear outfits that were in the bins, and then another pile on the floor. I have all of my husband's clothes that he's not wanting to wear during the winter season that he's fine with me housing back into the boxes. I have a pile for all of my shoes, and then again I have a pile for the rest of the workout clothes that were in my bins. And then on the bed I went ahead and I created a pile for my dresses, as well as another pile for my husband's winter clothes that were in the bins that I'm going to be putting back into the closet for the winter season. And then I also have all of my winter shirts on the bed, as well as my pants and my sweaters. And now that all of the clothing items that were in the bins have been sorted into their proper piles, I'm going to go ahead and take all of the clothes out from the top half of my closet and place those clothing items into their proper piles. Now, the top half of my closet is where I keep all of my excess clothing items from the previous season because I like to keep most of my clothes on my clothing rack for my seasonal capsule wardrobes for whatever season it is at the time. The top half of my closet is kind of just like extra storage a lot of times, or like I said, the excess clothes that didn't fit within the capsule wardrobe criteria for that season. And then once I'm done with the closet, I go ahead and I take everything off of the clothing rack and set those articles of clothing into their proper pile as well. And then the next thing I like to do is go ahead and create my winter capsule wardrobe. And this just kind of helps me to go through some of the clothes and condense them down. So basically, I'm going to just go through each pile and kind of figure out what I want to incorporate within my capsule wardrobe for the winter time from that pile. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that now and then add all of those clothing items for my winter capsule wardrobe to my clothing rack. So I started off with my shirts first, and whichever shirts that I didn't want for my winter capsule wardrobe, I just put in a separate pile. That way I can refold those and put those in the bins when I am ready to move on to that step, which I'm not going to get to that in today's video. That'll be the next video, which, like I said, go click on that after this video so you can check out how I fold all of my clothes super neatly to fit into all of my bins to house those up at the top of my closet for the other seasons. And I did just go ahead and do the same thing with all of the other articles of clothing that were on my bed, going through them and then putting the remainder of the clothing items that I didn't use for my capsule wardrobe here on the floor because I'm not going to tackle those extra piles on the floor today, so I needed to be able to sleep on my bed overnight, so I had to make space, so I just created a bunch of extra piles on the floor, if that makes sense. Alright, so now that my winter capsule wardrobe is all hung up and ready to go, the last thing I'm going to do for day one of this bedroom tidy up and organize and declutter is hang up all of my husband's clothes for the winter time that I put on the bed from the bins. These are all of the articles of clothing from the bins that he wants to use this winter. So I'm going to just hang all those up in the closet on his side. And I'm also going to color coordinate all of his clothes. I just feel like it gives it a more aesthetically pleasing look because we ended up taking the closet doors down out of our closets. We had those really old dated louver doors that just collected a ton of dust. And so we took those down and we filled in the holes around the trim. We sanded it and we painted it. And for now, we don't have any closet doors. So I like to make sure that our closet space kind of looks like, what it would look like if you went into a clothing store because we see it all the time. So I want it to look really nice and, like I said, aesthetically pleasing. So I not only color coordinate all of his clothes, but I space them. I just use my finger and I just go along each hanger and I space it. It takes like about a minute, so it looks really nice, but it doesn't take a lot of time to do that. And then on the bottom half of his closet, I just hung up some of his winter coats and his pants, and I will link these pant organizers in the description box below for you. It's a great space saver if you have a small closet space that you share with your spouse, like my husband and I. And then on the back end of his closet are where all of his loungewear and workout clothes are. But yes, that is it for today's video. That's all I had time for, all I had grace for. So I will see you guys next. Go check it out in the description box below. My next video, what I tackle next in this bedroom declutter, reorganize, tidy up. And like I said in the beginning of this video, if you are new to my growing YouTube family, please hit that subscribe button down below. It means so much. And until next time, I love you guys so much. Bye.